Hello and welcome to the Startup Guide, and you are in phase one. Phase one is researching and thinking. And this phase is important because in this phase you'll learn about the different types of Hagwons that are currently in business and kind of what they do there. Also about the types of tests students take and about curriculum. So you learn about different categories of curriculum. And another important thing is you'll learn about the expenses. So as you use this guide, especially in this phase, there will be a lot of learning involved and you will have to start making decisions. One of the important parts of this phase is to think of your end goal. And this part is important because everything kind of matches your end goal. And of course, your end goal could always change. So for me, before I started my Hagwon, and that was in 2013, and now it's 2016, I did a lot of planning. However, there were so many changes that I definitely couldn't have been prepared for. But of course, you need to be as prepared as possible. And that's what this phase is for, to help prepare you for your Hagwon business, and so that you can make as little changes as possible. And in this phase, you'll also learn about the areas of Korea. And I mean, pretty much the best place is to start in your area where you're already located. And you'll also get an overview of the laws. And in this section, don't focus too much on the laws because phase 2B is actually devoted to laws and legalizing. So in this phase, just kind of get an idea. And also, you'll also do some research in your potential area that you choose. And of course, you'll be looking for certain things, certain buildings, so that you know if your area is a good place to start your Hagwon or not. And another good idea is to download the overall Hagwon startup checklist, and that's available for everyone if you go to the checklist page, which is HagwonStart.com/checklists, and download it and make sure you check off each box so that you don't forget anything. If I had a checklist like this when I first started, I definitely would have saved a lot of money and a lot of time because I would know what to look for and I would have some kind of structure of what to do. So I hope this part helps you, and I hope you get as much knowledge as possible. Don't be afraid to ask people questions because the worst thing that can happen is that they'll say no because maybe they're busy or there's something better to do, but that's okay. You need to get used to being rejected because you're getting into business and parents might reject you left, right, and center and say, I'm not sending my kid to you, or not even take your flyer. So go around, ask people as many questions as possible. You might be annoying, but better annoying and knowing things than being safe and sorry, right? So anyhow, good luck in this phase. And in this phase, for example, I will show you one section and just kind of give you an idea of what to. Yeah, I was about to finish it there, but I want to kind of give you one example of one section that you can see so you can kind of get an idea of what to expect in the guide. So let's check that out. All right, well, this is our example of our Hagwon Startup Guide Phase 1, Researching and Thinking. And this is, you guessed it, researching the types of Hagwons, or Hagwon types, the first section of Phase 1. And as you can see, there is a podcast here. If you press play, this is me just talking about this. So this kind of gives you
You
more
are listening to HagwonStart.com.
right? And you can listen to it on iTunes, or you can just play it in a new window, or you can download it. So I'm just trying to make as much information available to you as possible. And as you can see here, there has been an update, and the updated information is all in purple. And this is from the past. And now that I have more experience, 3 years, I have a lot more to share. So I share a lot about my own experiences, and I have links to helpful pages and posts. And if you look at your checklist, it'll say number one, Hagwon types, learn about the 5 examples of Hagwon business identities. And here are 5 examples of Hagwon business identities. I share kind of how much they charge, what they teach, and kind of my, I also give my commentary about things about if you should start this Hagwon type of business or not, and why. Because I've seen a lot of things in my area. I've seen Hagwons start and close, and I've seen some that last long, and there are a lot of different factors involved in success of a Hagwon. And I have also a lot of friends, and I mean, they have bigger Hagwons than I have, right? They have hundreds of people, they've been around for a long time, and some of them are even in Taechidong, like in a really competitive area, and some are in other areas outside of Seoul, right? So everyone has a different type of Hagwon and a different type of niche, a target market, and a different type of success. Then I talk about C2, a small or medium-sized review school or supplementary school. I talk about what that is. So there are 5 examples I make. And I also talk about some of my friends. I never tell you the name because, people's privacy, right? So anyhow, then there are, if you look at the checklist, it says learn about the 4 Hagwon types of business benefits. And then I share the type of benefits for parents, not for you, but for parents, that you can kind of offer as a service. So for example, the first type is a schedule benefit. So for example, some Hagwons, they tell parents like you can make your own schedule. You can come here anytime you want type of thing, right? So those are types of benefits, incentives, whatnot. Some of them have homework care. Like these are just a few of the examples I talk about in this section, as well as I talk in other sections as well. So actually I talk more about that in services in the Hagwon brand. That's not in this section actually. That is in section 2A for your services. But anyhow, it's related to this. So, and I always give a little, I think, an encouraging word so that you can kind of, hey, don't worry, you can do it type of thing. I mean, if I can do it, I mean, so can you, right? So anyhow, that is an example of one of our sections. And of course, in phase 1, there are 12 sections, and some sections may kind of overlap with others, but there's a lot of good information that you can use for your Hagwon business planning. Yes, so that was the Hagwon types area, and even though we didn't see every single part of it, you can get an idea of the updates that I've made, and you can definitely see the different color. So I use a different color to show the updates. So every year I will put an update so that you can see exactly what has changed, and also get an idea of what to expect in the Hagwon industry. All right, I hope you take your time and you learn as much as you can in phase 1. All right, let's go to phase 2A and B.